Welcome back to Takeaway Thursday. Today I'm creating a mini folio using just a few pages from my Seasons of Harvest printable collection. And this pack is filled with rich autumn tones, pumpkins, golden textures, everything that captures the warmth of the season. I wanted to show you that you don't need a huge packet. You can print as you need and the ones that you like. So these just few coordinated papers can come together into a cozy layered folio, perfect for journaling, for memory keeping, or just as a gift. I like making these because I do give these out as gifts. So I'm going to walk you through the basic folds and show you a few ways to mix and match the backgrounds and the pockets so you could make it on your own. Okay, so let's get started. You will need 3 cardstocks. This is the Astro Bright pages, 110 pound. And we're going to go ahead and cut them down. And we're going to cut each of them down to 7.5 right there. Okay. So there's that one. Let's do another one at 7.5. Okay. There you go. And another one at 7.5. Okay. And now here, what we're going to end up doing is we are going to cut these down a little bit. And so the first page that we're going to do is we are going to score it at 5.5. And you're going to have to bear with me because I'm doing this using this scoreboard and cutter. And the numbers run this way instead of the other way. So bear with me if it looks a little off. I don't mean it to look off, but it's just, this is just more convenient for this moment in this time. Now we're going to score at 5.5, which is right here, 5 and then the half. So we're going to score right there. Okay. And then we're also going to score at 1/4 inch from there. So this is 5.5 here, and this is 5 3/4. So we're going to score that right there. Now I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to have to open this again and move this around. Just bear with me a couple sheets and we'll get through it. So here, what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you can see the folds there. And again, it is 5.5 right there. And then 5 3/4 right there. So from this line right here, we're going to cut at 2.5. Okay. So we're going to use this fold right there. And that's marked right there at 2.5. I'm going to push it all up. I'm going to cut it right there. That's an extra. Make sure you keep it because you just never know if you need it. So that's number 1. Let me use that. There we go. There we go. This was 5.5 right there. 1/4 inch right there. It's 1/4 inch. And then 2.5. So that's page 1. Okay, so we're going to move this one over. And like I said, this is down to 7.5. And what we're going to do with this one is we're going to score at 5.5. Flip this around again. I'll score at 5.5. 5.5 is right there. I'm going to give it another 1/4 inch. I'm going to do the 1/4 inch right there. All right. And then I'm going to flip it over. We've got this 5.5 this way, 1/4, and I'm going to flip it over. 5.5, 1/4. And from this 1/4, I'm only going to give it a 1/2 inch. And I'll show you why in just a second. All right. So I move that over. Let's do these folds. There we go. And let's fold it again. Right there. Okay. Here we go. All right, so there's that one. Now this one, all we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half. I'm going to flip this over again. And I'm going to push this towards that. push this one towards that, but they're both even. Okay, and then here, there you go. You can see this is 5, 5.5 right here. And so it's 5.5 and 5.5 by 7.5. There's 2 right there. I'm going to move this, and I'm going to move this over so that we can get it a little bit more centered, and we can start looking at what is it that we're going to be doing here. I'm going to move this to the center, and we're going to work off this one. Here you're going to see this one that has the 5.5, the quarter, and the 2.5. You're going to see that this is going to be the actual front cover. This is going to be a spine, and this is going to make a pocket. What we're going to do is we're going to attach this one to this one. Again, this is the 5.5, quarter inch, and 1/2 inch. We're going to attach it right there. But before we do, we want to make sure of what papers we're going to use where, because that's going to make a huge difference because of the pocket. So if we didn't have the pocket and you didn't want this pocket, you can cut exactly like this right here. Just do the 1/2 inch and then just glue it on. But because we're going to use this as a pocket for our photo folios, and we're going to figure out what do we want for this page. Let me show you the rest of it, and then we can start figuring out how we're going to want it. Now, here's the one that's just folded in half. And this, what we're going to end up doing here, is we're going to attach it to this 1/2 inch tab. There's several ways. You could actually, I'm going to move this over. You could actually just glue this right here at that 1/2 inch. Still gives us that quarter spine that we're going to need for the right side. You can leave it, and it'll give you these 4 extra pages, right? So you got, this is the front cover, inner cover, pocket, second page, and this is the 3rd page. Here you can decide whether you want to leave it open or you want to close it up, and that'll just be another page right there. And you can use it as a pocket, or you can use it, like I said, open, and that'll give you that. So we're going to do that to make it easier on us. But before we get going, I'm going to go ahead and figure out what page do I want to use here, because what you want to do is, let me move these pages. Let's assume that I want to use this as my pocket. This page, oh, let me tell you, I cut these, let me move these over. I cut these at 5 1/4 with 7 1/4. The reason being is that I cut this like that because I want that extra little white edge all the way around. Do you see that? This is where this folds, right there. And you're gonna, what I want here is we're gonna do it this way. And if I wanted this page here, then I can do this, and then I can figure out, so I want this as this page. I want this as this page. I want this, actually I don't want that one there. I am going to use this one like that, okay? This is from my Seasons of Harvest packet, so we're gonna work off that. And I'm trying to figure out, would I prefer this one to this one and leave these here? But I think I like the way I had it like this. I'm going to do it that way. Here, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to measure. I think we're going to have to measure this way. It's 1/8 of an inch. All right. Yes, it's 1/8 of an inch. Let's narrow it. Oh, actually, no. Is it? No, it is. Yes, it's a 1/8 of an inch. Don't know why I got confused there for a second. So we've measured it, and we can see that it is. So what I'm going to do is I am going to measure, leaving, this is 2 1/2, right? So we're going to take the 1/8 off of this. We're going to count for the 1/8, and then this is 2 1/2. So if you have 2 1/2 and you take the 1/8 off, it leaves you at 2 3/8. I'm going to cut this one down to 2 3/8. Let me get this out again. Didn't think I was going to need it. And here we're going to turn this around. Okay. 2 3/8. So there are the 2 pieces. All right. Actually, I didn't have to stop the video, but what I really want to do is I want to make sure that this one, let's get these papers all in order, as I think that's going to be a little confusing. And let's move this on over here. And what we want is we want to leave that 1/8 all the way around right there. So what I'm going to do is, because this is cardstock, the one that I told you, the Astro Bright at 110, but this one I used 28-pound Hewlett Packard. And the reason I use this one is that copier paper is about 20 pounds and it's very flimsy and it doesn't really stick very well. I want something that it's a gift, so I want to make sure that it's a little bit more presentable. So I'm going to get a glue stick. The reason being is that, again, these sheets are thinner, and if we do use the glue, it may warp them and cause bubbles, and it may look funny. So we're going to go ahead and just use the glue stick for this. Bear with me here. It's been a minute since I've used a glue stick. Well, I shouldn't say that because that's not true. I've used it. I just overdo it. But anyway, here we go. Here we go. There's that. And again, we're going to leave that 1/8 about. Let's bring that in here. Give or take. Okay. And that'll dry up really well. Even though it's showing purple right now, it won't matter. Here, what we're going to do, because it is cardstock, we are going to use the glue. What we're going to do is, I'm just going to grab this one, flip it on over, and I'm going to grab the glue and put it right here on the edge. And again, I'm going to make a pocket. So for pockets, we do 3 edges or 2, depending exactly where it goes. And try to stick as best you can to the edge. I'm not really good at this, so we'll just take it as is at the moment. And here, I'm going to flip this around. Make it easier, and I'm going to follow the line here. Oh wow, there we go. I think I went a little too far. There we go. So I'm going to close this up because we're not gluing the other part just yet. And there's my pocket. Okay. All right, and then here I can do this. Let's go ahead and grab this glue stick and go ahead and glue this. Oops. There we go. Let's get those corners. And we're going to leave that there. It won't matter because we're going to glue the other side also with the covers. And so, if I did this correctly, we should have that edge about there. Does that look about right to you guys? All right. There you have it. So this is going to be a pocket. So then let's go ahead and put this one on this one. Because this is going to be a tab, we're not going to use the glue or the glue stick. We're going to use this double-sided tape, and this is how it's going to help us to make sure that it stays attached. Because we're going to start putting a lot of paper and a lot of weight on it. We want to make sure that we are where we need to be and it sticks together, right? Here we go. I'll flip this around. And I'll put this here. I need to put my readers on so I can see. I'm going to do this side and then this side. And nope. There we go. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and flip it around and put tape on that side. I'm going to put the tape on this side. And put tape on this side. And I'm just going to tear it off because it's easier for me. That won't matter. You can also cut little strips of paper, and for the spines, For these little spines, you can cut tiny little strips and put them down. I'm going to leave them blank because I am going to go in and ink. But I'm going to do it after the fact like I always do. In purposes for this video to make it easier. Ooh, wrong side. It's this side that we want. So it goes like this. Take that off. Well, I don't have a good, here we go. There it is. So that's that. And here, I'm going to flip it this way. I'm going to fold this little corner in right there, or that little excess. And then this is where it gets a little tricky because of the fact that this isn't as forgiving as glue, where you can actually pull it up, or tape, glue stick. That's what I meant to say. There you go. As you can see, it's a little slightly bigger, but that's okay. Once it's done and it's covered, it won't matter. And you know what? I added the tape here, and I didn't need the tape, but I'm going to leave it there anyway. I don't know why in the beginning I thought I was going to make this into a bigger pocket, but I like the fact of having all this space, so we're going to leave it as is. I'll just use this for whenever I put the paper that I'm going to use from here. I'm going to go back this way, and then it'll end up looking like this. All right, there we go. Let's see. Did something wrong here. Like always, papers don't come out right. There we go. So here I am going to open it. This is our front cover, and I'm going to use this sheet as our front cover. We are going to glue it on right there. Isn't that pretty? This is where, if in case you wanted to put some ribbon, this is where you would actually put in the ribbon. And so let's go ahead and do it. I'm not gonna, let's see, how much ribbon do I want to put? I'm going to use about, oh, let's say, I think, let's use 10 for the just in case. Okay, so, oh, I'll let it go. Here's the 10, and there's that. I'm going to move it on over, and I'm going to grab the tape again. And this is where I'm going to use tape to get that to stay. There we go. I put it on both sides, as you can tell. Bad job, but well, it'll do. Here it is. This is the wonderful part of doing this. There you go. And well, I better measure it because I don't know where the half is. Let's see. So I'm going with the 6-inch mark here, and give or take right there. And let's tape it. Yeah, this is taping. I'm going to tape it right there. Okay. And then we're going to glue this on. And actually I went a little over on that, but let's pull that back. There we go. I'm going to cut that off. Get a bit of that. Yeah, still has the... All right. So that's that. And there's that. Let's go ahead and put the glue stick on this one. Glue stick. And glue stick. And if this, you put it on and you start seeing that it's ungluing, you can go in and do the edges with the glue to help it stick a little better. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off. There we go. And we are going to do that 1/8 inch. Does that look about right to you guys? It's a little off, but it'll do. Let's see. And there you go. So this one's already on there, as you can see. I'm going to flip it over and open it up. Now to remember what piece that I wanted where. Let's go ahead and go back. This is going to be my back cover, so we don't need that just yet. And I think we said this one here. This one here, as these coordinate better. And then this one will be on this side to give it a little bit of color. So let's do that. Let's keep gluing. And let me move this over here. And there you go. And we're going to glue that. And again, this is from my Seasons of Harvest pack. But as you can see, you know, I used to long time ago, I used to go to these hobby stores and I used to buy enormous paper packs. And then I came to realize that I have stacks and stacks of them and I've never really used the entire pack of the ones that I would buy at the store. It just became easier to be able to print what I was going to use and only what I was going to use. Look how pretty that looks. Let's do this next one. Anyway, I just think it's so much easier because you've got more control of what pages you'll use, what tabs, tags, labels, all that good stuff. And you can pick and choose and use what you like and only what you like. I think I went a little too high there. Let's go down here, see if that works. That works. Okay. And once you have everything down, it really won't make much of a difference if it's exact. Plus, I didn't do any inking, so that's something that, you know, in the beginning, you guys have got to try that out. I actually even have it out to do it, but we're just going to keep on moving. We want to make sure that this video isn't as long as it doesn't need to be. And we're going to try to, like we talked about before, that inking does make a huge difference on these papers. Now, they sell different colors of cardstock. So, you know, Michael's has a good selection, and I'm sure everybody else does too. I go to Michael's, and I like their Recollections, I think, brand, the 110 pound. And that's one of my favorites. And so I use the black, the brown, they have a whole bunch of, look how pretty this looks. Oh my goodness, and look at all the different pages that you'll be able to decorate with. So here's the front cover. Actually, it's gonna look like this. That's the front cover. And then you've got inner cover, and then this, and then that, and your pocket right here. I'm going to flip it completely, and this is my back cover. So here I need to make sure that I put the piece of ribbon that I need right here so that it will be able to close off. Here's my 10 inches of ribbon. Let's cut that off. And I think I used maybe what? Looks about 2 inches of tape. Let's use 2 inches of tape. All this thing just everywhere. Let's try that again. And there's the 2 inches of tape, and I'm going to tear it this way. Makes it that much, so much easier for me. And there's that. And then I'm going to flip it over. And again, 2 inches of double-sided tape. And like I've told you guys before, in my other videos, I bought this off of Amazon. So you can actually go onto Amazon and they have every size you can think of. And there's even sheets. If you wanted to do the entire sheet and just peel it off and stick it like if it was, you know, sticker paper, you can do that also. This is where it's going to get tricky for me because I am going to have to fold this down. And I'm going to have to see where that 6-inch mark is. And let's see, can I get this off? Yeah, here we go. That was easier. Oh, backwards. There you go. Oh, what did I do? No, I lifted it up. Well, that's okay. We'll have enough. Actually, I'm going to turn it around. I want this one folded up right here, as you can see. So I want to make sure, let's see if I can get this. I want to use the bigger piece to be the one to stick to the cardstock. Yeah, no, that's not sticking. Well, usually it's supposed to be easier with this. There we go. That corner's right there. There we go. 6-inch mark is right there. And there we go. And the back cover. That's going to be the back cover. And where's the back cover? Here's the back cover. This is the back cover. And we're going to go ahead and glue that down. All right. The fall's coming, and there's so many projects and gifts that we give and you do, and I want to do them all. I'm trying to get ahead of the game here and show you guys this photo folio that I think is just great. I've given these out, like I said in the beginning, I've given them out as gifts, and a lot of the people really enjoy them. This is something to, as a keepsake. So now we're going to do these. Let's start over because I'm getting a little confused here. All right, let's see. So there is the front cover. There's the back cover. Okay, there's that. Now we open it up and it does this. Then we open it up this way, and that's that, the 4. And then we're going to do this, and these 2 pages are what we still need to do. This is an extra page. I think I'm going to put my apples on here. I really love the way this paper came out. It's very warm and welcoming and very fallish. And see the tape right here? Because I made a big boo-boo, we are going to take that off, and there's still going to be a little bit of a tape. So I may end up putting this isn't the pocket, but a pocket with one of my extra sheets that I can cover that up. So for right now, we're going to just go with it. I'm going to move this up. Let's get this on here. Let's glue all this. Let's get those corners there. And we're going to move this on over. And this one, we are going to move it up. Let's see if we got that straight. Did I get that straight? Does that look straight to you guys? Y'all probably have a better view than I do. I'm at an angle here. I've got this new camera prop that I'm using, and I'm still trying to adjust to it. And it's not a prop. You know, I for the life of me, what is it called? It's for the camera. It's to hold it up for you. I'm going to call it an arm because that sounds good. You know, the funny thing about these videos is that before I even sit down and do them, I think things through. I look at everything and say, okay, ooh, let's take the tape off this. And let's get this up. I think these things through, but once I start, I forget what I'm supposed to say, and sometimes it doesn't sound like I make sense here. So y'all forgive me. Look at this, how pretty it is. Just reminds me, my daughter and her family go to the apple orchards, and they go apple picking, and they do all these fun things. And I think, you know, how fun is that? They go to pumpkins and do the mazes and everything. And wouldn't this be a great picture to hold your memories and your pictures and your keepsakes? You put your photos in here. And okay, so now we've got this. Here's the cover. And we can tie that down. Like I said, you can cut little strips of the paper and put that on here if you want it. But I think if you ink it, it'll give it that, it'll feel more complete and done. And so here's the cover. And then, oops, I opened up a little bit more faster than what I needed. And there's that one. And there are the 4. And then let's flip that back. And there's these. And then the back cover. And if you give them out, you can probably put your little sticker here and, you know, who you are with all the love. So here, what I wanted to show you is I'm going to go back to... I'm concerned that this is going to get stuck. Anyway, let's leave it open for right now. Here, this is part of the pack. And what I showed you earlier was one of the pockets. I'm going to move it on over this way. As you can see is you can actually, I cut it down to go with the page. Of course, I'm not going to put this here. This goes with the other pages, but this is a pocket that you can use. And there's 2 or 3 of them in the packet. I think there's 2, honestly. This one, you know, if you ink it and you do the round corners, you can put it in here, and that's a keepsake. And then, you know, you can decide if you want to do it here. Now, one of the things that I wanted to show you guys, and I haven't shown you, is you can get really creative. So let's cut this probably about 1 inch here. And I'm going to cut it in half again. And it's not exact, so bear with me. If you do this, you fold it down like this. Got this? You can actually put this page on here, like that. And then glue this to here. And so instead of just having 1 page, you're giving yourself extra, because it'll open up like that. So that's extra writing space, extra memories to jot down. You know, if you want to put little pictures and whatnot. There's also, you can do it, you know, this way, and you can do a tip in, and you can do it, you know, do it this way and give yourself extra. You know, it just depends. If I was going to do it on this end, I probably would use something that actually is the same size or length of this one, because the last thing you want is something little and it's just kind of flying and flimsy all over the place. But that's just an idea. And let me move this on over. I'm going to shove this in here, and or put this in here. Please forgive me the way I said it. You'll probably hear about it because of the way I said it. And these are photo mats that are included in the pack. I'm going to close this up here, and you can put your photo mat. So there's no guesswork. I mean, it is already done for you. So here, I mean, this doesn't, you know, you can use it on one of the other sheets. Let's see. Let's see if you want to use it here. You can do that right there. You can actually glue it down. You can do another pocket, glue these right here, and then have this as a pocket, right? You can put the little, where is it? This little piece, and have it open whichever way you want. And that gives you extra photo here, so you could, you know, put another one here, put another one here, and you can keep going. And that's the reason we gave it that little spine, just because it becomes really bulky when you start adding all the pictures. But this one is just a really cute reminder, you know, that for your photos, if you wanted to put one on top of another, you wanted to use all the, and this, all of these size, you can print as many as you want. The good thing is that this pack has this color. It actually comes in 4 colors in the pack. So you have a variety of different things. Now I'm going to go back up here. I like this. I think I'm going to put that. These also come in the pack. There is the solid color ones, and then there's the ones that don't have, they do have color, but it's not as bright. But when I was making this and designing this, I thought, I like that. So I'm going to glue it down. And then actually I'm going to leave it alone because we've got to get moving here. And on these pages, I'm going to open it up again. And let's say here, if I wanted to use this tag, I can actually use it as a tag, right? But if I wanted to use this tag and use it as a tuck, you could glue here and glue here, and then you can tuck your pages like that. And depending on how big this is and how big you make it, then that'll depend on how much it holds for you. So you can, you know, keep going and do your thing. And there you have, you know, space for how many photos, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then if you put the little tab on these, it's endless. The only thing is, keep in mind that we only left a 1/4 inch. So if you're gonna decide to make it bigger, you can use the same measurements, right? But instead of the 1/4 inch, do the 1/2 inch. And the 1/2 inch here, you're still gonna keep the 1/2 inch on this little piece right here, because that's holding the paper up. So I hope you enjoy. And if you all wanted to see these or see the pack, as you know, I have an Etsy shop that I opened up. It's a simple takeaway Thursday project. because that's what I'm doing on Thursdays. Tuesdays are our take and make, where I usually give you a freebie. No, not usually. I'm going to try to give you freebies because I think I'm set from here to the end of the year with all the different freebies that I'm going to have for you. Here's just a few pages that I've used from the Seasons of Harvest. And if you wanted the entire pack, you can go and grab the entire pack. And you can start creating your own cozy, fall projects, different things that you can create with it. And remember, keep creating and make something uniquely yours, because it's always time to inspire. Thank you, and bye-bye.